Well, hello everyone, and considering the next video I'm going to do after this, there's some more problems that have basically reared their ugly heads. The whole age thing, like, if, the age thing still works the way it did, like, for, like, normal MHA canon, then wouldn't, Tenko be 5 years older? Wouldn't that mean that they wouldn't be in the same grade? So, I'm gonna make a quick old retcon city, for that. I'm going to say that, seeing as, Izuku was, 5.5 at the start of the first part of the What If, and Tenko would be, 6.5. So, every time Izuku, a year went by for... What the hell was that? What? Yes.
You sure?
Jesus Christ, you're scaring the hell out. Yes. I'm fine. Yes. The two tacos were much anyways. Oh my God. Jesus. Anyways, so yeah. Tenko's going to be only 1 year older, so. Seeing as start of the anime, I'm going all the way through the anime, all the way through the school year. And Izuku's 15. That would make Shigaraki only 16. And technically, if you say something about, skipping a grade, that could still technically mean that Izuku and Tenko would be in the same thing. So, and plus with people like Bakugo around, I don't think that's far-fetched that could happen. Not by skipping a grade, held back a grade, I don't freaking know anymore. I'm just saying so that it doesn't seem so outlandish. No, my outlandish shit is for the Lugiacris What If. That shit, it's no hold barred, the weird shit. And I should know, I just did a part of that. But now for this, what if... Carnage Izuku was in modern Mortal Kombat Part 3. Basically, at the end of Part 2, there was, some shit, some Freddy Krueger bullshit. He was DLC in Mortal Kombat 9. And, that is still considered, at least to me, modern Mortal Kombat. 9 to 11, to me, is considered modern Mortal Kombat. And I don't count MK vs. DC because screw that game. It messed with things it shouldn't have messed with. Basically, ever since the end of the last part, basically Izuku's been going Dukes of Hazzard and Carnage with him all the way over back to the house to try to protect his lady love and, their little Izusi. And, well, things being how they've been, let's not to say that Robocop hasn't done his, best to, help a friend out. And, basically knock at the door and, Izuku will just, for 1 second, see who it was. and be like, what the? Dude, why are you here? And Carnage would be like, yeah, we're here for a very important reason. Why are you here? And, RoboCop, my Robo Buddy Cop man, he would admit that he was basically here for, to help a brother out. Or, brothers in the case of Izuku and Carnage. And Izuku would just be like, well, thanks, I guess. And it would actually come as a little bit of surprise to Mr. Dream Demon, Freddy Krueger, the second time that he tries to get Cassie, because, there's not that much more Hypnosil. Like, as soon as I started coming out with that Hypnosil stuff, people started chugging it, so they're running very, very down on the Hypnosil supply, so stores that have been selling the Hypnosil have been closing down so that they can restock. And so they're kind of out of Hypnosil. They never really thought they were going to need it in the first place. Somebody should have informed Izuku and Carnage about Mortal Kombat 9. Maybe then they would have reconsidered. But considering how many doses of Hypnosil have been scattering across Earthrealm, it probably wouldn't have worked anyways. Probably would have had to pull an Eddie Guerrero and lie, cheat, and steal. Lie, cheat, steal. Yeah. Seeing as there's not much Hypnosil, guess what happens? Cassie, even, doing her hardest to try to not fall back asleep. It just doesn't exactly work in her favor. And she basically ends up falling asleep anyways. Not having enough energy to keep herself awake. She admits she probably was going to make herself some coffee. But then her body just gave out on her. It's almost like Freddy's gaining influence on, every single last member of Earthrealm to make sure that people aren't able to keep themselves from going to sleep, so that he may hunt however many he wants to hunt, and whenever he wants to hunt them. Yes, Freddy is doing his damnedest to gain influence over the power of the Earthrealmers. Basically, kind of make it to where they can't keep themselves from falling asleep. Yes, Freddy is playing definitely out of the line, cheating and stealing. He's definitely pulling some cheating. Whenever considering that. Taking that into consideration. Whenever it comes to Izuku, that's something that basically has Izuku and Carnage yeah, we kind of need to make sure, and it was if it will solve things faster, you can come in, okay, man? And, RoboCop is just like, okay. Basically, the first thing that they both realize is that, from what they can see, it definitely doesn't indeed look like, within the last seconds, awake, that she was doing her freaking damnedest to keep herself awake. But, it's almost like somebody had some sort of influence over her, keeping her from... It almost looked like she was headed towards the kitchen to make coffee, but couldn't get out of bed. That's whenever RoboCop would actually bring up some similar cases to this, and also regards to some Hypnosil and even coffee ingredients. If it wasn't for to get some freaking Hypnosil, which Izuku and Carnage both admit that it's not in their house, they don't have any, you know, unless you've forgotten, basically we're on heavy, the stores are all on heavy restockage of Hypnosil, so we can't really get any as of now. So it was probably like to get at least like a couple cups of coffee. And whenever mentioning that there were like some sort of influence, Carnage is just like, Freddy, he influenced Cassie to do things that would make her efforts, all of them, futile. With not enough power to actually keep herself awake. Freddy will now resume his hunt. And Izuku would just be like, oh, the hell he will! And then he's just like, Robo Buddy, I'm gonna go leg next to Cassie, and I'm gonna trust you to punch me as hard as you can in the face. And RoboCop's just like, wait, what? What? Oh, you are seriously not doing what I think you're doing. And Izuku's like, I convinced a bunch of freaking Yautja to turn their ship into a, like, freaking giant-ass explosive to kill a bunch of xenomorphs. Do you really doubt that I would actually think of doing this? And then RoboCop would just be like, fair freaking point. Fine. Bam. And, like, the last words that RoboCop hears from Izuku is just like, you could have warned us first. And Carnage just, like, forming an arm and hand just enough to raise a middle finger straight in his face. Like, RoboCop's just like, did I really hit him that hard? That he has to do that? And so, later in the dream world, what the frick? I said frick.
You're going to take him without another drink.
Yeah.
You got a Coke right there, son.
It's watered down.
Oh, my God. She was watered down. Put that in here. Not that for me, but you can have it.
Well, you were the one who had it between your arms.
I just got it for myself. What's all over your bed? Did you spill something?
Sorry.
I didn't ask you to be sorry. Did you spill something?
And I said sorry because yes. Love you too. Jesus, what is up with people? Anyways, at least that's what you think would happen, basically with both, Cassie, Mizuku, and Carnage now asleep. You think we would switch over to the dream world? No, there's a little something that happens before that. The sound of I'm trying to do it, but it's really hard. But that thing the predators do. The thing the predators do with their mouths. A cool sound. And the reason why that would be heard from Mr. RoboCop over here is because basically, like, the Commander Yautja dude would have basically followed the trail left from, RoboCop's car. Basically the whatever kind of fuel his car uses trail. And, would have followed the trail in order to get to him because, this Commander Yautja guy basically put two and two together, if he knows where his house is, they must be friends. Yeah, well, this can at least prove one thing. Mr. Commander Yautja is not stupid. Because, yes, they are friends, I guess. Well, at least enough for Izuku to let him in his house, like, trust him that much. Especially in a time of crisis. But then again, he is a robot cop. Like police force, the DPD, Detroit Police Department. And, well, the Yautja Commander guy's trying to, like, be like, let me in. And, finally, Mr. RoboCop, he finally remembers who this guy is. And it's just like, oh, you want to help? I'm guessing you want to help? And then just like, just like the Predator would have just like face palmed and been like, God, humans are dense. Why does Izuku and his alien friend have to be the only smart ones here? Well, that and I guess his girlfriend is okay. And so, yeah, basically, seeing as the RoboCop still wasn't opening the door, just plasma cast her through a window. And just jump like Roman Reigns' Superman punch all the way in. Landing on the freaking couch. And a sexy pose. Like Predator Tender. A Predator's Tender profile. Like, what is it called? Love Cupid or some shit? Like, I don't know. Oh my boy. And now we enter the dream world. Because everyone's here. We got the cast together. So, basically, with Izuku and Carnage now finally entering the dream world, and realizing it's just a bunch of series of boiler rooms. Like, literally, WTF, Freddy Krueger, WTF. Like, basically, a series of boiler rooms chained together. Boiler room after boiler room, like a maze of this shit. A maze of boiler rooms, like, chained up together. Like, what the frick? And it's like a freaking smoke machine, so, like, it's like a freaking Showbiz Pizza, where, like, there's a bunch of smoke machines surrounding one freaking arcade game. Only instead of an arcade game, it's just like a series a series of many boiler rooms. Like a freaking smoke machine, and they're all chained together in like a form of a freaking like maze. And Carnage would just be like a little like, what the shit? More boiler rooms? And then they would just hear, ah ha ha ha. You'll never get out of here. Damn it, why is my Freddy Krueger impression have to sound so... It sounds like Aku from Samurai Jack. Like merging into Mr. Krabs. Like Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob SquarePants and Aku from Samurai Jack merging together. Or am I thinking of the Flying Dutchman from SpongeBob? Probably like Mr. Krabs, the Flying Dutchman, and Aku. Like, all just like freaking like merging together to create one weird ass Freddy Krueger accent. So he's just like, ah ha ha ha. You'll never get out of here. You'll never escape. And then Izuku would just be like, escape. 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 Wait, what's it over there? And Carnage would be like, Izuku, that's a fire escape. And then Izuku would be like, And Carnage would be like, Izuku, no. And Izuku would be like, Izuku, yes. And then he would just pull the fire escape. And automatically they just pop in right in front of freaking Cassie. And be like, wait, what the shit? And they'd see Freddy, and Freddy would be like, what? How the hell did you know that was the way you were going to escape? How? Tell me how! How do I use the power glove? Oh, what do you mean, this? And Freddy would just be like, what? How do you have the power glove? Oh, well, now that you think about it, and then just pressing one little button, and Freddy would just get like airlocked out of his own dimension and into the real world. And as soon as that happened, basically, it would be like a plasma caster blasted through the bed, and that would wake Izuku, Carnage, and Cassie up. And they'd be like, what the shit? And Izuku would be like, Freddy. And Freddy would be like, ah, fuck. And the freaking Predator guy would just, like, do some sort of grappling hook bullshit and, like, net around his, like, freaking leg, like, ankle and shit, like, and pull him in, and Freddy would be upside down. And, like, his hat would fall off, and he'd be like, ah, what the hell is this supposed to be? And all the thing that he would just see is plasma caster, and then nothing. He would get his head blown off. Just straight up blow his head off. Caved in straight through and just out of nowhere. Scatterblast. And then just kind of just throwing Freddy, the rest of Freddy in a burn pile. And like basically it would just get all like twisted and turned in all different directions, and then just fire another plasma caster, and all the dead wood mixed with all the rotted flesh would just create an inferno blast that would blast through the clouds. It'd be so like, yeah. It's safe to say that Freddy is no longer anything anymore. Yeah, you basically just dragged Freddy out into the real world and then blew him up to Kingdom Come. And so, yeah, that would be a thing. And, you know, the Predator Commander guy would be like, salute. Like, he'd just be like, salute. And, you know, Carnage would be like, okay then. And Izuku would be like, salute. They'd just be like saluting each other. And the RoboCop would be like, feel like the awkward third wheel in the conversation. Because Cassie wasn't even there to be in the conversation. Cassie was just trying to make sure that Izuku was fine. And you know, let's just say some special, you know, that, well, it could easily be said that, Izuku and Carnage don't have the best of memories of certain things that they've done in Earthrealm so far. One of those things being entering a sweepstakes competition for they don't even know what they entered it for. Maybe just for like the shits and giggles, and Carnage is like, yeah, probably just for the shits and giggles. And you know, they would get their whole thing back, and they would see like basically what the competition was for, and that they had won. Basically, like, you know, like, it's like tickets or like some sort of card or like something like, basically, they got themselves a stay at a certain place. A place that's constantly getting renamed so that, you know, there's no bad PR that's coming anybody's way. Even though nobody barely ever, like, works there anymore. How the hell did they do a sweepstakes competition if there's barely anybody there anymore for, like, staff? And they see the name, and you're like, you know, and I realize the name sounds kind of weird. You know, as they're reading it out. Carnage just, like, rips a couple of the letters apart and, like, rearranges them. It's like some sort of, like, Scrabble thing. And it just, like, see? There. Now, is that better? Did you just pull, like, a 3 steps back cipher thing? With all the different letters? And Carnage is like, do. like, I ain't touched nothing, buddy. I ain't touched nothing. It's like a do. And Izuku would just be like, says. And just so you guys know, RoboCop's like, kind of, you know, just drove off. And the Predator Commander guy is like, he's pretty much kind of in the mood to just like go wherever the wind takes him. Because, you know, like the Predators, it's kind of been getting like really hard for them to integrate into society, you know, being aliens and all. But, you know, no, they're gone. Basically, Izuku just reads this off. As, you know, it's just him with Carnage out there now. Out in the middle of this, like, burning glory of this big old burn pile. With, charred pieces of Freddy Krueger just, hopping off into nothingness. As all the different souls are set free. Was it like Dream Warriors ending or like Dream Masters ending? I think that was the third movie's ending. Was the third movie the Dream Masters? Or was it the Dream Child? I don't freaking remember the name of these damn movies. But what I do know is before Izuku actually reads off the name on thing, now that Carnage has rearranged all the letters to actually, you know, be eligible as a name, basically, like over that, you wouldn't hear that, you would actually hear something over that. You would hear off in the distance. Yeah! If you guys actually heard that, now you know what we're going to cover in the next part, because I think Freddy Krueger is enough for one part. Because Freddy Krueger is Freddy Krueger, that's why. He's not even my favorite out of the ones I call the Token 3. The Token 3 being Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Freddy Krueger. And out of the Token 3, I would say the Freddy Krueger was bottom tier, Michael Myers was middle tier, and Jason Voorhees was like best boy tier. So, yeah. Basically, Freddy be like a bottom tier, Michael would be like Michael Myers would be in like a mediocre tier, and you know, in best boy tier, like he should be, like he should always be, Jason Voorhees. So, if you heard that little reference that I just did there, you know who's next. I'm Zena Delsis, good action member. Here's OUT out here. Your boys like, favorite, subscribe. Click a little bell. Something in the comment section. I'm bouncing its Quidditch in my blue suede shoes. Yeet, 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 and all the yeet. And this direction. Who am I kidding? You guys all know it's Jason.